team in game one, but blow a 20-point lead. Clearly the better team in game two, but blow a 20-point lead. They also blew another 14-point lead. So bottom line is, whether it's, you could say, bad habits that that creeped in during the year, one way or another, like this is probably fitting maybe for the Celtics to go out like this, because there's probably times where they maybe cheated the game a little bit, you know, in the way that they approach this series.
I'm going to eat crow right now because I said there was no team that was going to be able to beat them 4 times before we beat them 4 times in a 7-game series. And I got to give all credit to the New York Knicks. I got to give them credit. They made the proper adjustments. They made the shots when they had to. I felt like they were a harder playing team. I felt like they were the desperate team.
No doubt.
They went out there and played like they had everything to lose and nothing to gain except respect from everybody else. So I have to sit here and say, hey, I got to give them respect and give them their credit, because not only Jalen Brunson showed up, you got to think Mikal Bridges in that fourth quarter in game 2 when he had 14 points. He had 0 with like 8 minutes left. Then all of a sudden he ends up with 14 points. Josh Hart showing up, knocking down shots. Jalen Brunson, we know what he's able to do. OG Anunoby, knocking down shots, but then also playing hard defense, getting rebounds, you know, out-toughing us, getting the 50-50 balls and just doing the things that you need to do if you're on a quest to win a championship. I don't know if we got too comfortable with the fact that we won last year and thought it was just going to be easy like it was last year because it was 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1. But at the same time, I just got to give credit where credit is due to the New York Knicks and that coaching staff over there. Tom Thibodeau did a fantastic job of making adjustments. And if you watch the game, you could see the adjustments happening. You could see that we really didn't make any adjustment. We stayed playing the same way. But at the same, in the same breath, I gotta say that the Boston Celtics, you know, this was very disappointing because you could lose, but it's a way to lose. You understand what I'm saying? It's a way to lose. And this is not the way to lose right here. You didn't go out on your medal. You didn't go out on your shield. You went out there. You basically got beat down in a closeout game. This basically was a game 7. And the way that you lost is not indicative to what this team, the character of this team. So I don't know what happened right there. But at the same time, you know, we look back and say, hey, man, great job. You know, they had a cool season, but good job to the Knicks. You got to give credit where credit is due.
You go back to the first half of this game as well, and the Celtics didn't have from the start, found a way to kind of hang around. The game was tied at 16. They were even down 6 at the end of the first quarter, but it was all Knicks from there. It's presented by TD Bank, America's most convenient bank. Knicks had a 27-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of great things throughout. And you know that in New York, they've been begging for Thibodeau to get fired all year long. Think about that, because they didn't come up. They didn't beat the Boston Celtics. They
struggled against all the top teams in the regular season. Yeah,
they're 0-13, right? But man, these guys played with a ton of confidence. Remember, we had the argument about the minutes. Do they look worn out to you? They don't look worn out.
One team looked worn out tonight.
We looked like we was worn out.
Yeah,
we looked like we were a team that was dragging.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, they made all the right plays, and even like Deuce McBride coming into the game off the bench, he had an impact. Mitchell Robinson had an impact. They had their swag up. We didn't play like
desperate. We wasn't desperate.
No,
we weren't desperate. It looked like the most desperate team was the New York Knicks. They came out there with a sense of being desperate, like, hey, we gotta win this because we don't want to go back to Boston for a game 7. While we came out there, you know, tiptoeing around, and everything was a step slow. And I'm not making no excuse for nobody, because I don't know how I've never been in a playoff game where, you know, I was on a team that got mollywopped like that. So I don't know what that's like, but they just were a step slow with everything, whether it be the initial closeout, whether it be the next help, whether it be the back end help, like that. It was perfect when they showed the Karl Anthony Towns. He beat Horford. D. White was late with the help. Then Cornette was late with the help. And then he gets an and one. Like, that was indicative of how this whole game went. We were just a step slow, count late, and just not tied together for whatever reason. And I don't get it, but at the same time, it's not for me to get. is for them to, to reflect on this and understand the sting of this, because you remember the stings more than you remember the rings.
You bring up the step slow, too. The point of attack. It seemed like the Knicks got to the paint whenever they wanted to in that first half. The Celtics couldn't. A lot of just shots off without any passes, without any ball movement, which we saw at times during this series. And then the Knicks with the second chance points. This is dominating the glass, presented by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. Hurt in a car work accident. You got to get Glassman. Takes out rebound of the Celtics by 19. It feels like it might have been worse than that, but 25 second chance points, 15 offensive rebounds. And again, a lot of that damage was done in the first half when New York built that insurmountable lead.
Yeah, second chance points, points off turnovers. Those are all the hustle plays, the ones you have to win if you're going to win a game on the road.
Yeah, it's all attention to detail, man. And to me, it was like lack thereof. And I think that carries over to everything that goes on. If you're locked in and your attention to detail is like razor sharp focus, then you're going to box out. You're not going to miss that box out. You're going to run back on just in case he might miss that layup. Like when they showed Deuce McBride put that back after Jaylen Brown blocked the shot. It's like, oh, now I got to go. That half count of thinking it's cool, but then now you running, somebody else just ran by you and they got to put back in. So it's just the small things led to big things. And I think, Scal, we were talking about this off air. I think all season we have been building these bad habits that could come back to bite you at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And I think that this was the wrong time that they came back to bite us. I know we didn't have Jayson Tatum. We all understand that he can, affect the game in a total different way, and maybe this series in a total different way. And still prayers up to JT. But, we still were accumulating a bunch of bad habits throughout the season.
And you saw it tonight. Celtics, who, again, came into this game as 2.5-point underdogs, did not cover the spread. They lost by 30 from there. And Jaylen Brown, as far as his night goes, Eddie, obviously had a huge game in Game 5 that allowed them to play this Game 6. What did you think of Jaylen and his inability to really get his team going tonight?
Yeah, it just wasn't that good. He didn't have a great game. I think maybe he exerted a lot of energy the night before last. And, 7 turnovers. So he set the tone in 2 different ways in 2 different games, right? He set the tone defensively in Game 5, in this game, turning the ball over and not taking care of the basketball and playing one-on-one basketball at times and not getting guys involved kind of set the tone for everybody else. And that's usually how it goes. When your star player does whatever he does, everybody else follows suit. So it wasn't his best game, wasn't the best version of Jaylen Brown. Fouled out in the third quarter.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
If you look at some of his shots in the first quarter, they were front rim, front rim, front rim. And then he had that one right there. You're like, all right, well, he's got his footing under him. But the reality is, it felt like the Celtics gave everything they had in Game 5 and had like zero left. And it's amazing, 3-point shot. And they always say, well, water finds its level, right? We didn't shoot the ball well at all in the series. And Game 5, we have a franchise-tying record. And then tonight, we're back to not shooting the ball well. So, interesting series going back to Jaylen Brown. Just his inability to, it's all about drawing to and moving the ball. And just today, the Knicks were more prepared, I would feel, for Jaylen Brown.
All right, let's find out what head coach Joe Mazzulla thinks about this one as he's addressing the media back in Madison Square Garden. The coach's press conference is presented by Amica Insurance, the exclusive auto, home, and life insurance partner of the Boston Celtics. Here is Joe Mazzulla.
Nhưng mà sáng quay em đến 12 rưỡi đấy. Anh nhập. Từ sáng quay được 3 tiếng đến 11 giờ 4 mấy đấy. Thì cũng được 22 đấy. Vâng, giờ quay tầm đấy nữa thì cũng tải được rồi. Giờ tôi quay thêm 3 tiếng nữa. Vâng. Lúc sáng em tải 2 file rồi thì bây giờ cũng chỉ được 6 file thôi.
Tại càng nó càng được gặp thì nó sẽ càng
Thành nó đang vai cả, vai trưởng.
mẹ ơi, có sữa cho nó này. Ý, đang lười, không đứng dậy. Đang ơi, bảo dẫn đây đi thích lắm. Đang ơi. Đây Đang ơi. Đang ơi, Đang ơi. Đang ơi, cho nên dẫn. Tê rồi đấy.
Thành bảo ngại vai trưởng.
Có gì mà ngại.
Hay em bảo mặt thì rẻ.